either.
Right, exactly, because that's something that they're required to do.
They're already required to do that. So what we're asking for is over and above what they're already required to do.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to make that abundantly clear that we want it to be over and above this.
Because when we present this to the district and they go, well, what would that person do? I could see that being a question, like, well, we hired, Akwayashi. What does an American Indian Curriculum Academic and Integration Specialist do? What else would they do that we're not already doing? I could see them asking that.
Sorry, I'm trying to get Brenda back on.
I mean, is this curriculum stuff like for the cohort where like there are only our students?
Well, I think that's kind of what, if we're going back to what we
you a
were
link
talking
for a
about
separate
as far as
Google
like
Meet. I'm
using
sorry,
when,
this
how
is
our
so
liaisons
terrible.
are utilized
Let's try to do
to
Zoom next time,
develop
say,
that
hey,
curriculum,
this
and
is
they're not being
awful.
paid for it,
That
right?
is literally not their job.
Literally not their job, but we could elevate some of if that is what they're actually being used for. And because they're providing curriculum for all students, it has to be paid proportionally.
Yep.
We cannot
The proportionality
exceed.
is important too.
So ensuring that proportionality is maintained.
Stressing me out.
Careful, the chair's gonna. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to. I have class. We're gonna have to leave here pretty soon, and then you're gonna sit with your sister. I know Thursday nights are long nights. Why?
I think that's good for that.
Good for now. If anybody thinks of anything after we have our meeting, please email us or whatever you need to do. I want to make sure we get all of our ideas in here.
Are we writing our recommendations right now?
I'm writing in what everybody's ideas are, and I was going to try to summarize it and send it
If
out.
people have specific recommendations after this meeting, I suggest emailing them, and they can be included.
And if I write it out and send it out and you guys are like, I'm not really sure that's what we thought, please tell me.
Because we're not
We're
limited to
open.
just
We're
these
not limited to
recommendations.
anything.
We can have additional recommendations, right?
These are our kids, and this is our recommendations, so
Well,
we
and-
can do what we want to do.
And in the past too, we've looked at.
So is 10 yes or no?
I put non-concurrent.
I put
that's what I
non-concurrent.
put. That's what I put.
Yep.
in. Okay.
Because it feels like they're trying to take Akbayashi's position and say, we did that, but this is not that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it is
They're
not.
saying, oh, we did it, and you're like, you did something, but it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, like, that's good, keep doing that. Keep Akbayashi.
So we recommend providing AIPAC with regular updates, biannual updates on growth and movement goals that target American Indian students.
I say non-concurrent.
Yeah, just because of the turnover.
Yeah, actually, we didn't have a coordinator at
Yeah.
our September meeting. We didn't
Yeah.
have a coordinator at our November meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is funny. Duluth Preschool is happy to attend twice annually. Okay, I
Why
haven't
the
seen them.
preschool?
And why are they coming in?
Well, because I think part of that, so if we look at like how we used to do our domains, part of what we did was kindergarten readiness was a big piece. Is we want our kids, because our monies cover Head Start and preschool kids. Like if they're JOM and they're in Head Start and preschool, they are part of our, they should be part of our account. They have access to all of our programming and funding. And a lot of kids aren't ready by the time they go to kindergarten. They're already behind. And so, and Brenda,
Okay.
I know might be able to speak to that, is that there was conversations, Duluth Preschool came, I think Phyllis and Tim, we were over at East High School in that weird like home ec room, and Head Start came and they talked about, we talked about like maybe having an ECFE group at ACO. Like they would host a group here, parents don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to do anything, it could be just like an indigenous-based group to help parents and get kids connected, positive relationship with the school, help figure out like do our kids have some developmental needs that we need to take care of right now? Because that's part of it too, that readiness, kindergarten readiness, read well by third grade were some of those benchmarks that we used to look at. And so I think that's why they said that they would come, is it's like, how are we, that was my what is the district doing to get our kids ready for kindergarten?
So far, they say they're happy to attend, but we haven't actually seen them.
Nobody's been around. Okay, and then part of the response was updates were aligned with the MDE timeline and also as requested by AIPAC as needed.
So that absolutely has not happened.
Yeah, so it's non-concurrence no matter how we look at it. So I think that we should put in recommending AIPAC with updates that align with the MDE timeline and just stick with that.
Well, yes. Because
I
they
think
have
that
it so
if we leave
clear.
it too open-ended, then
Yeah.
that makes it so that they're like, well, we weren't sure what you wanted updates on and
Right.
when. But if
And-
we say if it's aligning with this timeline,
And the timeline is super specific with
It's
what
so
data
specific.
that we
should
should
have
be getting in September. And that's where
That
they say
aligns.
that's where we should be getting our budget and expense sheet from
and
the
that's
year
why
before.
we're having a hard time with these kind of things. Because
Yeah.
we aren't getting the updates like we're supposed to be getting them.
And unfortunately, I don't think the previous coordinator was even involved in the quarterly budget meeting last October, which, how is the coordinator supposed to answer our questions
Yeah.
if she's not even
Yeah.
allowed at the table?
So does everybody agree that we should just stick in accordance with the MDE timeline so
Yes.
that then it's specific because it is super specific?
And this
And there
biannual
won't be
updates
questions.
doesn't need.
I'm cutting all that out.
Yeah,
We just need to be super specific so that they can't be like Lydia was saying earlier.
yeah.
So what does that mean? We don't want that. We're going to be specific.
Sometimes vague can be helpful, and sometimes it can be used to be
Well,
like, well, you
Obviously,
can
it's been
specify.
too vague because they
It's
haven't
been-
done anything.
right.
So, the assistant superintendent, there was no recommendation. Nothing in number 12. The assistant will. Christ, I can't talk anymore. Sorry, guys. Teaching learning equity year started attending AIPAC.
There have been school board members.
There have
I've
been.
seen various school. I would request that they continue to have a presence in our meetings.
Well, they're open meetings. Anybody can come.
Right, but that we have somebody from the school
So
board.
then a recommendation, should we recommend that we have one of these people always attend one of our meetings?
Well,
should that
part of it says is that they're assigned. School board members are now assigned to attend monthly meetings.
Mhm.
So
But they
I
don't.
need
If
to
they don't.
continue.
How do they attend meetings when it's not even posted on the website when our meetings are? Like, we set our dates back in July,
Yeah, they're not on.
and
the
they're
website.
not on the website.
Yeah.
So even our school board meeting, like, is it our responsibility to
So-
reach out to the school board? No, it's they should know because it should be posted. That's what makes a public meeting.
Or they should ask.
Or they should be asking, yes. And their staff that's paid to not, and we're not paid to do that piece of it.
So should we do a recommendation of more meaningful collaboration between?
Absolutely.
So that we can then have all of our information posted ahead of time so parents, staff, anybody that wants to attend,
Yes.
if there's events, if there's anything going on, if there's things we can help with within the schools, we have more meaningful collaboration with our AIPAC.
Yes. Yes.
I think you should also.
Because I think that that's what this is trying to get at, some more meaningful collaboration, but they didn't hit that. I mean,
Well, for years, we would go and present the resolution of concurrence and non-concurrence to the school board, and they had no idea what Indian Ed was. They had no idea what our students' needs were. They had no idea what programs could or were happening. They had no clue whatsoever about anything. And then we started in the last, I'd say maybe like 5 years, had some school board members that are a little bit, that are like, we don't know what you're talking about. Please, like how can we, right? Like they were like, because we were bringing numbers, we're like, this is our graduation rate, this is our reading rate, this is our, and they were like, oh wow, what is going on? And we're like, yeah. So I think having school board members so that when we bring this to them in March, they're not completely blindsided and have no idea what we're talking about. When they're at our meetings, they can see what's happening.
I would even suggest having to identify a school board member. Who's your school board representative? Because if you just say school board members, they'll say, oh, I thought you did. I thought you did.
We,
But if you say school board representative, then you have to identify them. And 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 then you have to
they have identified two for us. Stephanie Williams, she's very knowledgeable because she used to work in our Indian Ed department, and then Kelly Durek-Eater, who is actually the chair. But that has just happened within the last month. So, yes, we actually do know what their names are.
All right. So that's not really concurrence, non-concurrence. This is going to be a new recommendation.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah.
So,
Addition.
is there anything else that anyone can think of that they would like to add into the recommendations, including Sheila, since you're new at the job? Is there anything you think that would be more helpful that the AIPAC can help with, or we should put in here?
I did have, I was just looking through my phone and put it on my notes and it's not in there, but, I'll email if I can think of it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was like more like a cultural, having a cultural advisor type of person,
Okay.
you know, for the whole board, not for just AIPAC.
Like for the
You know.
district,
Yeah, for the
like an
district.
identified cultural.
Yeah,
I think that would
like,
be
like an
after
else.
what happened at Denfeld with the that was in the case,
Mhm.
the JP. Like, how did that even happen?
I don't know.
Wait, we had cultural items in a case, like on display.
Yeah, and I complained and
In a way
complained
that
and
they shouldn't
complained and
have did.
complained, and they finally talked to Sheila, and Sheila took care of that same day, I think.
Get 'em out.
My son was so upset. Oh my gosh, he took pictures of him. It's like, Mom, I can't do this. I can't be there. I'm going to break him out. They're calling me, Mom. I'm like, I'll talk to somebody. You don't have to
Like,
commit a crime.
Don't vandalize.
Don't commit a crime.
Like I hear you, but also like that would not, in the long run, be.
Well, I told the principal, I'm like, these kids are seeing their relatives and they're starving to death.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to
Disgusting
feel?
Yeah.
So one thing I would recommend is actually having action items that come out of meetings that we attend. I've attended a ton of meetings and I don't get any of the requested information, right? This is about a year's worth of, and no action item. I have to respond and keep asking the same exact questions and getting the same non-answer. So I think making and MD has basically a meaningful collaboration chart where that's kind of a requirement when they're collaborating with the AIPAC, when we're collaborating with the various tribes in the area. Action items need to come out of those meetings so the district identifies what are they going to do differently because of that meeting. What comes out of these meetings we attend to. Right now they're saying, oh, we meet with you. Okay. That is me using my gas and my time to go sit down and ask my question and get nothing from it. So like I just think making sure that there is legitimate follow-through and action items for every meeting that there's an American Indian person present at. Another thing I would like to say is we need to trust the information that we're given. You know, right now I'm given a lot of information that I don't trust. You know, so like making sure that the district is holding up that they are operating with fidelity, right? Like I said, I had to print off our Title VI APR report myself. I had to disaggregate the data and put it in a usable way. And there's some disturbing stuff on there, so I don't understand why this wasn't shared with us. You know what I mean? Because it's literally a requirement. So just making sure that the district is operating these programs with fidelity so that we can trust what we're being told.
It's like ethical stewardship of funds.
Yes, ethical stewardship of funds. I like that. There should be no question when we're saying, oh, how much did we support, how much did we spend supporting the Denfeld cohort? That's a question I've asked, and nobody knows, right? And that's weird at the midpoint of the year. That should be very clear. So we know what is left for those funding and what additional supports we can have.
I
I do agree with that, Amber. I think it's really strange when we have changes where it's, hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight, and it's like, why were those changes made? How were those changes made?
Yep.
Because you have quarterly budget meetings,
You,
so how are we able to just make that all okay? And that's the part I don't really get.
And I would say, if the money needs to be spent down for the year, then you all should decide how that money gets spent down. Them making decisions.
Right.
Well, that's the meaningful
because
collaboration.
the
you know?
audit,
Stewardship.
Yep.
the audit reports that we have $114,000 restricted AIE funds, and
I gotta go pick up my other kid.
the last 5 years worth of audits say that JOM funds have already passed through the district, and they're telling us, oh, we need to ask Fond du Lac for these funds again, and Fond du Lac is saying they never asked for them, but their audit shows that these funds pass through. I just don't understand how that happens, and how do they plan to reopen those books once the year has closed out, because your auditors don't go back and change that. So we're reporting $20,000 in JOM funds, and we heard at our last meeting we have over $200,000 in JOM funds. So just like I said, somehow we covered a lot of JOM costs, and we have a restricted reserve, of over $100,000. How, understanding how that happened so that it doesn't continue to happen, and these funds actually get to our students, right?
And that's just
I wish my phone wasn't dead.
So based on everything, are we more non-concurrent than concurrent?
Yeah.
We're completely non-concurrent except for one that was only partially met. So,
How do we want presentation of this to go? That was the last thing to kind of talk about. I'm open to presenting. Is there other people who would like to?
I like to say something. I think I like to see Lydia involved with it, just for the fact that there's been so much tension between the district, and maybe her presenting will give a fresh start, knowing that this has to get done, but they'll, I don't know how to say it without offending anybody. You're going to have the same people at the school board. They're going to come in. They're going to see the same people presenting this, and you don't want them, that attitude. I think having somebody like Lydia with somebody to present it would be a benefit.
Unfortunately, she's not here to ask.
Color.
Yeah, I did talk to her about it, and she
has presented it in the last, how many years?
I've never presented it, so I'm not really sure what.
Yeah, it's.
I presented it last year, but we had asked everybody to show up, and nobody else did, so it kind of just fell on me.
Yeah, because last year we had Amber, Jennifer, Phyllis, Lydia. And that was the most I sat off the side. I didn't feel comfortable, because it was a learning.
No, that was at Cal we were all at. When we actually presented to the school board, it was just me and Jen there. So remember, we had to have two, because they were like,
Okay.
more discussion will happen at Cal, but because we had to present before March 1st, it was just me and Jen there.
Yeah, I have never presented, so I'm not really sure what that means.
And it's required to have a parent committee member present. It cannot be
Hey, are you
staff.
free? Okay, okay, so we're talking about, okay, so I'm going to put you on speakerphone here because you're discussing people, and I brought your name up, as, to help present this. So let me put you on speaker. she's on speaker, so.
We'll just say that you're recommending.
I'm recommending you, Lydia, to help give the presentation.
Yeah, I'm open for that. I put it on my calendar so that I have that space open.
All right. I don't know what else.
How many people does it have to be?
It can be as many. We can have it. We can each present a portion of it if we want.
Yeah, which is something that I was going to recommend, so that they see us, that we all want what's best for our kids.
Yes,
that
I
we
say
all
the
worked
more
on
people
this
who
in
do it,
collaboration.
the better.
Historically, we try to bring as many committee members as possible, because if we just send like 1 or 2 people, where it's like, if all 12 of us show up, right, like, in force, strength in numbers, having as many people go as possible is.
And if we have community members that want to come and sit off to the side, hey, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Because all of our kids are affected by these decisions.
So we'll just present it
As a group?
as a group.
I think we
Have
should do
multiple
that.
people can
Yeah.
present different portions.
Yeah.
Do we want to work on a slideshow, or what does that look like?
So basically, there's a template that needs to get signed where we present our vote of concurrence, and you basically are just reading this. This American Indian Parent Advisory Committee voted either concurrence, and it was basically just reading that little piece of paper, whether you voted concurrence or non-concurrence, no matter whichever one you did. And then the second part is presenting, since we voted non-concurrence, presenting our recommendations. So that's what we're going to have to kind of wordsmith a little bit and share and work on over the next week to make sure we have those recommendations solid and we kind of agree on them. But yeah, so somebody reads how the vote played out, and you're reading directly off of paper, and then we take turns with our recommendations. So it shows that we are all involved in
And
this.
be organized about it so they know, holy cow, these guys are.
Yeah.
We're on it. We're together. We're collaborating. We're,
Yep. I did have a copy of it.
I know that in the past we've submitted, is there a deadline that we have to submit the physical copy so that it's distributed to the board members, or
It has
Can
to
we
be
just do
before
it
March
at-
1st. So what we present on February 25th is what they will sign and the co-chairs sign, and then that's what's submitted by March 1st to MDE. So we're pretty much at the end of our deadline.
So I think we need to do an actual.
So are we on the agenda for the 25th then, for the school district?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay. So that's all set.
You wouldn't need to vote if everybody's gonna do a part.
Oh, do we have to actually vote with a procedure for non-concurrence?
We should. Okay, I motion.
I'm not trying to.
No, that's
no.
actually
That's
actually
a good
super good.
question.
That's an important part of the process, is to make sure we all are on board. I motion to vote non-concurrence.
I'll second that.
second, or yes, non-concurrent.
Yes. 5th, 6th, 7th.
Does anyone not agree? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes for non-concurrence. That is definitely enough.
It's almost over, I promise.
So we have an official vote of non-concurrence.
All right.
And you know where the forms, online form.
They're right on
Yeah,
MDE's
yeah,
website in the
page.
annual compliance fees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically just
All right, bye.
print it off blank. We write in it, and it's ready to go. I think it is also was in our binders we got from MIA. Anything else?
26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32,
That I've been trying to
35, 36, 37,
do in my brain.
I was going to show you that.
I think we should do
41,
official
42, 43,
voting.
45, 46, 47,
that works with our school.
49.
You could even stay on AIPAC members to
Somebody that is actually there, either there or.
758.
That is a good, like, okay.
I think that should be a recommendation, but I'm trying to think of how I should put it in writing.
91,
I would say, if, like I said, if anyone has additional recommendations as we're sleeping on this, submit it in email and it can be added.
It's 99, 100.
I'm gonna write it down now and then I'll.
100 seconds.
I mean, unless you all want to hear what I'm stewing over. I think we should have an appointee from our AIPAC to the school board, where we actually work with them, go to some of their meetings, we're actually privy to some of what they do. You know, and we could either have one person or we could alternate.
Attend their meetings?
Yes.
Attend their meetings, be part of the process, actually give our input, and not just once a year, like, actually be part of it. Because I don't know that we could ever get elected as a school board member, but I think we should have somebody because of how many kids we have and how many kids we have failing.
But I think if the district's focus is going to be equity, they should be trying to raise those voices and give them their own place, right? Place of value.
Yes. Yes. They don't think about us if we're not at the table.
Because even at the school district, they do have their own student reps.
Yep.
Yeah, so why can't we have an AIPAC rep?
Yeah, I think that's a good
that
And like I said, we can
an
either do
AIPAC
like
rep.
one specific person that can always be there, or we can
Yeah.
take turns,
Yep.
okay? You know,
Yeah,
Phyllis
put
can
that
be
in.
at this one,
Yeah, put that in there.
Tim can be at that one, Amber can be at that one. Cool, you know.
Squeaky wheel gets heard.
Okay. Let's get that facilitated. We'll put that in our recommendations.
Do you want to do the official adjournment?
Where's my? I'm gonna crack the hammer. All right, guys, we're all adjourned.
Okay.
I don't know what time it is.
Yes, we're done.
7:30. Good.